We appreciate all the support that we've been getting lately. It's gotten a lot of views and a lot of attention, so I'm glad that we're getting this information across the basketball community. Keep that up. Today we're going to be covering the 2-3 zone basic. In the future, I'll do more intermediate and advanced 2-3 zone setup. Watch all the way to the end and I will show how some offenses try to beat the 2-3 zone. Alright, let's get into this. Looking at the screen, you'll see for basic 2-3 zone, I drew a T down the center of the court and then at the 15-foot line of the free throw line, extended. This is exactly where your players should be positioned on the setup of a zone. So in transition, they just scored a basket, they got down the court for defense setup. This is how they set up. The purple circles indicate the zones that each individual player should have. In some of the areas, there are double coverage and overlap areas. Here, here, here are overlap areas. Next, I'm going to cover vulnerabilities. So I have circled the areas that are vulnerable to attack. For a good 3-point shooting team, 2-3 zone would not be the best defense. I would not suggest playing a 2-3 zone against a good 3-point shooting team. In this video for basic 2-3 zone, I will be covering against a 5-out offense, meaning all 5 players are outside of the 3-point line. If you need further information on what a 5-out is, check out my other video right here. The first rule is anytime the ball is thrown, all 5 defenders need to move. One will throw the ball to 2, and the second defender or number 2 defender will come cover their zone. 1 will move over slightly. 3 moves down to cover 4. 5 moves over to cover the middle between 3 and 2, and any baseline attacks or skip passes. And 4 does the same, moves into the paint. This expectation is the same on the opposite side. I'm showing that if 1 passes the ball to 3, that 1 will come cover on 3, 2 moves up, 4 moves over, 5 moves over, 3 moves over. Movement is the same covering the first pass, meaning 1 player away when you pass the ball. Moving on to the next expectation, you will see 1 skip passes or second pass the ball, meaning it skips 1 person and goes to the next. Or it's 1 person away, so it's the second pass. 3 will drop all the way down to cover 4 and make sure to cover that baseline attack. 2 moves over in between 2 and 4. 1 moves up, 5 moves down to ensure the baseline and the paint doesn't get penetrated, and 4 moves over also into the paint. Keep in mind when the players move, they have to be aware of where the ball is going. I will cover if 4 would pass across the court, where everybody would move to. Now on this one, we just show the ball being at number 2 and being passed to number 3. So we skip 1, pass it cross court. In this instance, 4 will move up here to cover 3 and immediately get bumped down by the number 1 who has just moved over. All the other players will follow suit and move to make sure that everything is covered. We'll do it the opposite way. So 3 has the ball, they pass to 2. Immediately 3 will come up to cover. 2 starts moving. Once they get there, they move down to 4. 5 is moving over. Now this is happening all at the same time. 1 moves up, 4 moves in, everybody is covered. Now this one is very important because teams will get the ball to the corner or to the opposite side and then pass the ball all the way across the court because it's difficult for the players to get to the outside perimeter. The way to beat that is once 4 will pass the ball, so in this instance I'm going to demonstrate 4 passing the ball to 1. When the ball is in the air is when all of these players will start moving. 4 passes to 1. 1 will immediately come up to cover. And once 2 gets there, they bump down. Then everybody moves how they're supposed to move. When 4 passes to 3, 4 comes up, gets bumped down. As 1 comes over, everybody moves. 4 passes the ball to 5. It is a mirror image of this. 4 will cover. 5 is in, 3 sinks down, and 2 sinks down. Some rules to keep in mind. If the ball is low, where 4 or 5 is, number 5 should sink below the ball. Number 3 should sink below the ball. This is so they can see where the ball is and they prevent any baseline attacks. Now that I have discussed how a 2-3 zone works, I would like to discuss some pros and some cons for the 2-3 zone. One is you're denying the paint to the team. This means that no offensive players should have anybody get inside the paint to score. Number 2 is that you are in good position to rebound the basketball since everyone should be near the paint. Number 3, you can slow the game down and control the tempo using a 2-3 zone. And for my final pro, if you look at the screen, you will see that in many areas you're able to get double coverage onto one player. And now for the cons for a 2-3 zone defense is the first and most important is that it can promote laziness, meaning a defender thinks that they only have to cover their area and nothing else. Remember that if a ball handler gets into your zone or beats the defender in that zone, that another defender may have to rotate over, meaning all defenders have to rotate. For the second con, I mentioned in the beginning that this defense allows 3-point shots. If you're playing against a team that are good 3-point shooters, I would suggest that you do not play a 2-3 zone in this situation. That you can play man or other defenses that I will make other videos about. Put in the comments what other defenses you would like to see or learn about. And for the third con that I would like to mention is that a 2-3 zone defense requires communication. This means that when there is a cutter, the defensive players have to yell cutter. This means when the ball enters the defender's zone, they should yell out ball, so every defender knows where the ball is at that time. If there is a pick being set, they need to communicate that as well, screaming pick or screen, and this is so the other defenders know that a pick is being set and they might have to cover and rotate. Which brings me to my fourth con, which is players have to quickly rotate in certain situations to cover. And for my last con, I would like to add that this 2-3 zone defense is particularly vulnerable to the high and low post on a 3-out or a 4-out offense. If you take a look at the screen, I have a 3-2 offense, meaning there are 3 people outside of the 3-point line and 2 people inside. I provided a low post and a high post. This is the way that teams like to beat a 2-3 because it automatically puts somebody into a vulnerability area. In a future video, I will discuss how to trap the posts when they receive the ball. For a video on trapping or traps or trapping areas, click the link right here. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and share this with your teammates, your fellow coaches, friends, family. Thank you all for watching. We're out.